the worst theme park death that ever existed. June 14th, 2016, Dreamworld Theme Park, Gold Coast, Australia. It was a Tuesday afternoon at one of Australia's most beloved theme parks. Kids were running between rides, parents were taking photos, and people were queuing up for one of the park's most popular attractions, the Thunder River Rapids ride. If you've never seen one before, this is what it looks like. Riders sit around the edges, facing inward, while the raft slowly spins through the course, getting splashed along the way. It wasn't some extreme thrill ride. No harnesses, no steep drops, nothing scary. Just a relaxing family attraction that had been running for nearly 30 years without serious incident. That afternoon, 4 adults boarded one of the rafts, expecting nothing more than a fun, wet ride. What they didn't know was that ahead of them, near the unloading area, one of the other rafts had stopped moving correctly on the conveyor system. This conveyor was basically a belt that lifted rafts out of the water and carried them to the unloading platform so riders could get off and the raft could be sent back around. When that raft got stuck, the ones behind it kept coming. At first, the operators weren't too alarmed. Ride stoppages happen all the time. But then, everything went wrong at once. The backed-up rafts collided with force. The impact was violent enough to lift part of one raft completely out of position, tilting it at an angle it was never meant to reach. The 4 riders had absolutely no time to react. Within seconds, they were thrown into the conveyor machinery. And this wasn't some gentle theme park mechanism. This was heavy industrial equipment built to move large fiberglass rafts. It was not built to stop for a human body. Witnesses nearby said the scene didn't feel real at first. Then came the screaming. Staff scrambled to hit emergency stops as fast as they could reach them. Guests in nearby queues stood frozen. Some pulled their children away. Some just couldn't move at all. Emergency services arrived quickly, but it was already too late for 4 of the people involved. 4 people lost their lives that day. Cindy Lowe, Kate Goodchild, Luke Dorset, and Ruzi Aragi. Kate and Luke were siblings. Cindy was Kate's close friend. Ruzi was Luke's partner. They had all come together for a day out. They never went home. The whole country was in shock. This wasn't some old, neglected ride at a dodgy carnival. This was 2016 at one of the biggest theme parks in Australia, a park that millions of families had trusted for decades. As investigators started digging into what happened, the details that came out were deeply uncomfortable. Safety systems that should have detected the problem and stopped the ride before any collision happened were found to have not worked as they should have. The water pump system had reportedly been running in a degraded condition in the lead up to the accident. Staff were aware there were issues. Risk assessments were found to be inadequate. What started to emerge wasn't the picture of a sudden, unforeseeable accident. It was a picture of compounding failures that had been left unaddressed. The public wanted answers, and they deserved them. Dreamworld temporarily closed its doors after the tragedy. When it reopened, attendance had collapsed. Eco Adventure Valley, Space Journey, June 29th, 2010, Shenzhen, China. At a massive resort known as Overseas Chinese Town East, also called OCT East, everything seemed completely normal. But inside one attraction, a disaster was already beginning to unfold. The ride was called Space Journey, a large spaceflight simulator designed to make guests feel as though they were blasting off into orbit. There isn't any footage of what the ride looks like, but it looked something like this. At approximately 4:45 p.m., dozens of guests boarded the ride. The doors closed, the machinery activated, the cabins began rising into the air. At first, everything appeared normal. Then suddenly, according to several witnesses, the power seemed to cut out. One rider later described the cabin going completely dark. Another said there was a loud bang followed by confusion and screaming. People inside the ride had no idea what was happening. The attraction was elevated high above the ground and moving at tremendous speed. Then the situation became catastrophic. Investigators later determined that one of the ride's cabins, known as cabin number 5, became unstable while the machine was spinning. The cabin dislodged from the ride structure and fell, but it didn't stop there. After the cabin detached, other cabins slammed into it during the ride's rotation. The collisions created a chain reaction of destruction.
Tragedy strikes one amusement park in southern China. 6 people were killed and several others were injured when a space shuttle ride plummeted to the ground.
A space shuttle simulator ride plunged to the ground at a popular amusement park in the southern Chinese city of Shenzhen on Tuesday. 6 people were killed and 10 others injured. Witnesses say there was a loss of electricity and they heard a loud explosion moments before the drop.
All the cabins but the one we were sitting in were destroyed. Some people fell onto the rail, and some fell onto the ground. Some people died instantly and were just hanging dead in their seats.
A relative of an injured tourist saw the accident happen.
After one compartment flew out, the other one crashed into it. There were some safety devices, but they were jammed after the car failure. And after that, the people could not get out. Some of the thinner people could crawl out.
Local media reported that 5 of those injured are still in serious condition. The spaceflight attraction gives riders the experience of a rocket launch in 11 4-person cabins. The cause of the accident is under investigation.
The final toll was devastating. 6 people were killed. 10 others were injured seriously. The victims ranged in age from their 20s to their 40s. Families who had arrived expecting a normal day at a theme park suddenly found themselves receiving the worst news imaginable. As investigators began examining the wreckage, questions started piling up almost immediately. The theme park itself was partially shut down while safety inspections were carried out. Behind every investigation report, every inspection document, and every policy change were real people who entered a ride expecting excitement and never made it home. If you enjoyed this video and would like to know more history like this, consider hitting that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.